We are shedding excess labor in the federal government.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling Tucker Carlson that government employees losing their jobs now could work in factories.
That will give us the labor that we need for the new manufacturing.
Ridicule pouring in on social media, with memes going viral. We don't know where exactly they're coming from, but this one, an AI-generated video crudely showing Americans doing factory labor, raising the question, is a manufacturing renaissance in the United States possible? And would it provide jobs that people here want?
It's automated factories, but the key is who's going to build the factories, who's going to operate the factories, who's going to make them work. Great American workers. You
we
are going to replace
on other
the
networks,
armies of millions of people. Well, remember, the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated, and great Americans, the trade craft of America, is going to fix them, is going to work on them. They're going to be mechanics. There's going to be HVAC specialists. There's going to be electricians. The trade craft of America are high school educated Americans, the core to our workforce.
Now manufacturing employs only about 8% of the nation's workers. And to give you a sense of the wage gap, on average, manufacturing jobs make $35 an hour now. In Vietnam, for example, that rate is about $1.20. Let's rewind to the 1970s. Back then, nearly 20 million people in the United States made their livings from manufacturing, accounting for more than a fifth of total employment. The U.S. was a leading producer of everything from cars to planes to steel.
So it was a really big deal for the U.S. economy. And what made it an especially big deal is that those jobs paid really good wages, and that allowed workers with just a high school degree or not even a high school degree to attain a middle-class lifestyle.
But then globalization, starting in the 80s, NAFTA in the 90s, China joining the World Trade Organization at the turn of the century. It all shocked the system. Cheaper labor abroad meant lower prices and closed factories here.
And to reshore domestic production.
He acknowledges we won't be able to make things as cheaply as they do in China or many other countries, but thinks the job creation is worth it. However, many of the manufacturing jobs of old were dangerous, dirty, and difficult. Across the economy, 38 workers a day died in the U.S. in 1970. Now the number is less than half that. There's also concern about the potential environmental impact.
Even if we're able to bring more manufacturing back to the States, our environmental laws are there for a reason, and it's to prevent what we saw at the turn of the 20th century with cities that were cloaked in smog, with rivers that caught on fire, with toxics leaking into our water supplies.
Little office workers really want to hit the factory floor. The industry saying bringing those jobs back will spur innovation and automation, leading to better manufacturing jobs.
If you talk to any person that runs a factory, that's a CEO of a company that produces in the U.S., they will tell you that innovation happens closest to the factory floor or on the factory floor. Are we going to have, new technologies making the processes better, more streamlined? Absolutely.
But let's be clear, modern manufacturing is not the people that we saw on that spot from the 1970s. It's robots. It's robotic assembly lines, right? You've got a fraction of the number of people working in factories today.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's actually something that I spoke with one of our guests about earlier today as we were putting this piece together. I said, listen, you talk about bringing jobs back to this country, okay, but how many of those jobs are going to be taken up by robotics? By AI. Howard Lutnick himself, an advisor to the president, said essentially we're looking to robotics. We are looking to AI. He argued his point saying, in fact, though, along with robotics, along with AI, there will be job creation. But nonetheless, many of those jobs will go to the robotics and to the AI. And that is certainly yet another concern with this manufacturing renaissance that we're talking about. Manufacturing back to the United States, made in USA. Doesn't that seem great? OK, well, here's the issue, though. That takes a heck of a lot of investment, as you mentioned, and a lot of time. We're talking about billions upon billions of dollars, companies, countries, so on and so forth. If they're going to invest that type of money, Tom, they need stability. They need to make sure their investment is going to pay off and there won't be a rocky road ahead. And what these economists are telling me is everything, with the way the markets have been going over the last couple of days and the way in which these tariffs have been instituted, points directly away from, opposite from stability to instability. Hence why it is they disagree with the way in which the president is going about bringing manufacturing back to the United States.